Hello audience, my name is Isaac Gutierrez and I am your GM today. With me as always will be my inner demons, aka my bounty hunters. Except I have a little thing I have to confess. I fucked up. I lost audio. All of it. It's gone. It's dead. I killed it by accident. Alright, I didn't feed it for a while and it died. So, our shopping episode may or may not have lost the audio. But hey, here we are. I'm going to explain to you what happened in a quick little precise recap and a pretty quick little story. Let's get in. Pulling up to Castle Daemon, the bounty hunters see the 6-foot-tall birch tree treant just standing there talking to Salazar, hanging out. And as Elena gives, well, what we can tell is proper thanks and kind of burial to Lizelle and Z, we have everyone meet Birch Longroots, the top 5, one of the top 5 bounty hunters of the realm. Along with this, Amleth won the bet with Francis by piling up together everyone's gold and barely beating Francis and winning his dragon-made sword. Clerk is able to identify both the dragon-made sword and the hellmetal spear, but right now he's backed up on orders, and he looks pretty bruised up and tired, so yeah, they need to give him a break. Maybe he might be able to handle it by the end of the contract. Who knows? Well, I mean, I do. Between having a good meal at the kitchen with very little spite between Amleth and Swill, and then a good rest, the party actually getting inspiration. Amleth attempts to make bombs and blows up a little bit, kind of a cartoonish manner. Rocco begins experimenting with the Gargoyle Golem book, and Corvis has a chat with Birch and Salazar as they all accept the 1k gold bounty along with an extra bit thrown in for good work. Up to another 1k for all. Swiftness, you know. However, when they go to bed, Corvis's dog, Xena, goes over to a chest of an abandoned bed. A tag saying Corvis labels it. The only thing that labels it. After prying it open, Corvis and his roommates find it is filled with bones. Alerting Salazar and having Amleth try his best just to mess around with it, apparently. They used a raise dead spell, and they got the information that this was, well, I mean, 2 ghosts appeared at once. They're half and half. It was the bodies and souls mixed, but they kind of get the names Harry and Oriel. And that's when Salazar connected the dots. These were previous clients of the bounty hunter service. He was worried of a serial killer using the service to hunt previous clients. But on the brighter side, Theodore, a ranger of quite large wealth, I would have to say, of the, I believe, Longshoots family, offers to buy the direwolf pups of Lizelle and Z's. I believe actually just Lizelle's. And for 22k, after a few months has passed, he has to go get it, go to his family, get it, approved, etc. So hopefully after 1 or 2 contracts, they can get 22k for the puppies. Also offering to hire the crew until he found out they were criminals. Then he acted like a bit of an upstuck, you know what. And then as they all wind down and get ready to head off to the swamp for the next few weeks, go to bed and rest. They'll need it. So we at Bardic Logs welcome you to Inner Demons, the mysterious swamps of the Choltean Sea. Alright, so your adventure with Birch begins by waking up. But it's a different wake up. Instead of your normal, just a rooster in the distance, cacawing, and Elena very casually going through and waking people up and be like, excuse me, hi, you have your bounty starts today, stuff like that, very kind. Instead, Amleth, no, even better, Corvis, in the middle of your nightmare that you have, where the gargoyle is like, but of course, no, as we talked about before, it's not like an intense, like you're gonna wake up screaming nightmare, but it's definitely kind of like, whoa, oh god, what the fuck. And as you wake up, you look out the window and you see Birch, the treant. You see him very lightly, almost like a creepy pasta, just stand there for like a second and then tap the window and then wave at you. Hello! Are you ready for our adventure?
I was just going to blink a few times, like, oh fuck. Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm ready. Well, I need to get dressed. Give me 5 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna wake up everyone else. And everyone else is very similar. I would say like maybe Amleth, you have like the window open. It's like a little draft, you know, because it's a little warm. You feel like a vine wrap around your leg and start like shaking you awake. Wake up!
I immediately grab my weapon.
He looks at you. He's just like, oh, sorry. I'm just very excited.
Okay, well, as much as that may be, don't do that.
Understood. My apologies. Would you be able to be ready in the next 10 minutes?
Cut that in half. I'll be ready.
Amazing. See you in 5. And Rocco, he just looks in, taps the window. You're already awake. You're like, okay, cool, thanks. You like heard him loudly. Like he may be very slow, like ooh, but he's pretty fucking loud. Like the entire castle probably hears the do when he walks around. Then in roughly 5 to 10 minutes, as each of you walk out, Salazar, gives you guys one last kind of rundown as you see outside him and Elena are now doing more like traffic control. You see tons of people running back and forth. You see carriages being like driven out and getting ready, and carts and such. And as you guys actually fully kind of gather up, you see that you have a small caravan coming with you. Salazar looks to you and goes, alright, so just to give you a bit of a refresher before you head off. Let's see, he looks to each of you. Alright, so you're going to go after Brix Longston. He is a blighter, and he has roughly, from what we have, our resources. He taps like the paper, like yeah, a few times. From this resource right here, we have roughly 10 people with him. All right, they're deep within the swamps of the Choltian kind of sea, and you guys are going to be spending about a month heading there with Birch. You guys are going to have a small caravan, roughly 10 workers, roughly. Let's see. I was able to round up on 3 other guards. So you guys will be acting as Birch's, aides and also his guards, his defense for the camp, along with, and he snaps his finger, like 3 to 4 other kind of lightly armored guards wielding various weapons from long swords to a halberd come out. All right. So and then these will be your assistants, I suppose. They're lower end bounty hunters, but they'll be good to keep an eye on things. Other than that, oh yes, I would highly suggest, and he looks to Birch at this, but then also simultaneously gestures to you guys, knowing that you guys are, his aides, not just his defense. You're going to be going between the town of Roseway and Underwoods. I would highly suggest going to Underwoods first, as it is part of the swamp, but just be careful. From what I heard of Roseway, it's he leans in a little bit like closely. A bit of a hippie place. Not really my vibe, but maybe you guys might end up liking it.
Salazar. What's the pay for this, Salazar?
Well, if you might remember, it's 1,000 each, with a $1,000 extra if you happen to get them within the week.
In the week?
Yeah, so when you arrive, if you get them within the week, that includes actually bringing them back to the camp, either dead or alive. And once Birch is able to send off a notice that you guys have captured them, I'll have both the evidence from the carrier company of the date that you have sent it, and also the fact that when I receive it, it should be roughly 3 days later. So with these combined, I'll be able to kind of roughly tell when you guys get them. And if you guys get them quickly, the client offered an extra 1,000 for swiftness.
Alright. Sounds good.
All right. Well, with that, I must get back to work. You guys should be going off for the next 30 minutes. He like smacks the horse on the ass. The horse starts to tropping off as heading towards one of the carriages as he starts guiding it. Well, I shall speak to Birch and make sure you guys are right on ready. And with that, you guys want? How would you guys like to ride the caravan? You guys have roughly a month of travel now to get towards the edge of the Choltian Sea. Would you guys like to pick a specific carriage for yourself and kind of like take the inside and make your own little area? Are you guys gonna take separate ones to hang out with the other guards to kind of even out your defense? How are you guys wanting to handle it?
I think it's towards having a better formation for defense, just in case. Cover all. What's the word I'm thinking of? Wow, can't think of it. Flanks, all flanking points, so cover all the bases. Depends how everyone else feels, though.
Oh, okay, so you're looking for... Okay, so Amleth, as you, like, kind of... I like to imagine you stood on, like, top of the carriage. You're looking around for... are you talking, like, choke points, specific entrance and, like, attack ways that, like, people might try to approach you from? Okay, okay. I like that. I like the idea of you standing up and, like, alright, well, how about Corvis and Rocco? You see Amleth kind of trying to figure out choke points, and he suggests maybe trying to cover those areas.
Well, Corvis will probably walk alongside the caravan, and this is going too fast. One, to keep an eye out, and two, to help train Gina into, guarding stuff.
Nice, nice. And how about you, Rocco?
Well, I'm not really... I feel like if anything were to happen, my best position would be being near Corvis or Amleth, or preferably both. I'm not really useful on my own. So I'll probably just switch off being near one of them and then switch into the other one periodically. Just, not really, just floating between the two.
Okay. So, let me see. So Corvis, you can definitely control one kind of defense point while you're walking along, because it's not going too fast. You could definitely walk along, train Xena. She, obviously being the puppy who's now definitely going to attach to you, is just going to follow you. So, no matter what, you're not, carriage, because it's like multiple little, I would say about 4 little actual carriages, so it's not going to go terribly fast. It's not like it's, horse full speed, so you're able to walk alongside it. Amleth, you're able to go between, walking and patrolling certain areas and hopping up top and like keeping an eye on them. And Rocco, you kind of just go back and forth between them, covering. I would even say with this back and forth between them, you create an almost central patrol point between the camp, going between the edges between Amleth and Corvis. With that, the other 4 guards kind of maneuver themselves around you guys. So whatever 2 control points you guys aren't going towards, 1 to 2 guards is there, and the remaining areas they have the other 2 guards take as patrols. The guards, just so you know, are 2 of them are human, 1 is an orc, and 1 is an elf. You haven't really met them before. 2 of them, you can definitely tell the humans are slaves. They're slave bounty hunters. They have the collar around their neck and the ruin within the collar. But the orc and the elf, though, look to be free men. And then, with that...
Which one of you wants to take each guard?
Yes, I would say that while you guys are traveling, there is probably the need for, I would say at least 2 guard posts a day.
So I thought the guards were just hanging out around us. Are we supposed to be picking ones to hang out with us?
They are. They're just hanging out around you. They're not specifically... Yeah. They're not like... they're just around you guys. They're basically my way of making sure that if I give you guys like a swarm for the caravan, you won't get overwhelmed. They're going to cover points you choose not to cover.
Okay, I got you.
Absolutely. So, with that, you guys have, I would say that you guys have to have 2 specific guard times. So, it'd be, the guards themselves will kind of split up their sleeping schedule, 2 on, 2 off. Who would like to take the first one, and then who would like to take the second one? You guys can split it up.
I'll do the first.
Alright.
I'll do the second.
Sweet. And then Corvis is on standby.
Yep.
Perfect. I would like to imagine that you're just in the cart with Xena, and hey, do you wanna take a shift? You're like, well, I mean, I got this puppy here, so I might as well just stay and watch her. And Xena, go ahead and roll me animal handling, Corvis, as during this trip is a month-long trip. Xena actually starts to grow up a bit. She becomes a little bit less of a puppy and a little bit more of a young pup, a bit more of a teenager-esque, and she starts to learn and pick up a few more tricks. Not bad!
Woohoo!
Alright, Xena, I would say, knows a few things. She knows her name, she can fetch, and she can retrieve certain items for you. So, and she can go and alert certain people. So she is used to and knows the faces of Amleth and Rocco pretty well, because they hang out with you a lot. So, she knows she can go and retrieve those two, your party members, be like, "Rrr, rrr, rrr." Corvis still in the well, guys. She can, go retrieve them. She can retrieve specific items she's aware of. So, like, your sword, your dagger, rations, maybe a lantern with like a hilt on it. But she's not going to be able to be like, Xena, go get the magical staff of Zolor. She's going to look at you like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Like, go get me the Vault Power sword.
Yeah, she just looks at you like, yeah, with that, she actually, I would even say, impressively so, she seems to pick up your trading and tricks. And, with the 17, I say, yeah, she's very responsive. I would say you would probably be pretty proud of Xena over the month. Other than that, let's do a random encounter. Okay, so, as you guys are getting closer, like, I would say a week out from Castle Daemon, that, so, while you guys are like a week out from the castle, suddenly a bard, a very classic minstrel gesture with a lute, starts following you guys, and, I would say, just because he inherently physically looks like the toughest, Amleth, he starts to eye you up, and he introduces himself as, Hello, caravan! My name is Jonathan. I am a minstrel. I'm one that travels the land looking for stories and be able to maybe pay a few coins to hear your stories, to spread them and increase my... He opens a small journal. Books of, stories! Do you, any of you... Maybe you, buff man, strong barbarian, have any kind of stories?
Coins.
Let's see, if you could provide me one of action-packed and that I can get a really rapid audience with. Let's say, out of 10, a perfect 10 out of 10, right? The hypothetical greatest story, I can give you 100 gold. If you happen to give me a shit one that's like, it's kind of cool, 20 gold, right? 1 to 10. So, from between that range, depends on the story and how you tell it.
Do you guys want me to tell the story, or do you guys want to tell the story? Or do you want this guy to just fuck off entirely?
Hello, do you have any stories? Fuck you! Okay then.
Tell him the story about the part that got his neck broken outside of the caravan.
Alright, I mean, I'm up, so we got 1, and then Corvis. Do you want to tell a story, or do you want to, not do anything?
I don't really care.
Alright, so he's giving us, the bard is, offering to give us gold for a story, right?
Yes, he's basically a wandering bard who looks for stories to tell and be able to, the classic bard, I'll trade you a good story and a laugh for a night's stay kind of thing. He sees your stories as actual valuable information.
Can I check can I use insight to see if there's anything up with them?
Yeah, absolutely.
don't trust this guy one single fucking bit. Damn it. 10.
Get fucked.
I would say so. 10 is like a pretty. It's like the baseline, right? I would say you get a baseline reading. He looks weird. He looks eccentric. It's hard to get an accurate read on him, but like every bard, he's got that little quirk that's kind of like, all right, I get it. You're quirky, and he definitely seems to be a businessman, really trying to work that quirk. He really wants your story to almost an obsessive point. It seems you could even, like, as he moves his journal, you maybe glance, you can see that it's fucking full, and it is noted book number 3, right? So it's like, you get at least the idea that if he ever strays from it, it's not often, and you definitely get the vibe that he's obsessed with this, like, actual story desire.
Alright. Look, if I tell you a story, will you just give me the gold and then never bother us again?
Of course, I don't need to follow. I need to make this a trend. But whatever you do, just make sure your will is not to bend. And he strums a little bit on his lute and does a little merry dance. Even the guards kind of groan a bit. Like, the orc kind of like looks over to you, Amleth, and rolls his eyes.
Alright. Well, there was a group of prisoners. Very high security prison. One of them was an abomination, another being a mind flayer, another one being a humanoid bird, and another one that was a bard. Now, they all got captured for different reasons. The abomination wanting to be captured because he was an escaped lab rat, basically, after killing many different people that went after him. The bird was caught stealing. Mind Flayer was simply framed for his actions, which honestly wasn't necessary. And a bard, he was saying about a prophet that didn't exist in a town that was believing in a different religion. Now, these prisoners, they all decided together that they would escape the prison. So, the abomination, he grabs a crossbow from one of the guards behind him. He aims for the head, but then he misses, but manages to grab the keys. So, a few guards come in. The abomination, the mind flayer, and the bird person, they all ripped into shreds, especially abomination. The abomination was just a human mixed with different beasts, so he could crawl on walls, he could jump as high as he could, higher than anyone. And he also had fangs that he could just tear through metal like it was butter. So after killing these guards, he snuck through the entire time. After becoming seen by the other guards that the prison, they made a run for it. They ran across this little chasm that is connected to the prison, and having the bird person, one of their wings broken, she falls. But then that abomination quickly grabs onto the wall, scurries all the way down, past 60 feet, grabbing the bird person and hauling them back up to the chasm. Then they make it to a cavern where they meet a very particular group of skeletons. Now, the abomination was very survival based, but not very smart. So immediately the abomination goes and slashes at a nearby gravestone that was glowing. And suddenly, a huge, ghostly being takes over and attacks them all. The abomination is knocked out immediately. The mind flayer is having trouble trying to get into its head and cause any damage. But as soon as that gravestone is finally broken, it ceases to exist. All the skeletons fall to the ground at the same time. And with that, That group of ragtag prisoners gain all new weapons of different elements, swords, axes, crossbows, all of them having fire, electricity, even water. Then they suddenly make it to a boat outside of a cave. Still, prison guards following right behind them. And they make it to a little town full of fish people. Now, these fish people, they believed in a very certain god, and they had a princess. And so, the princess was actually about to get sacrificed for this god. The adventurers, not knowing, the best of what was going to happen, they interrupt the sacrifice, wanting to spare the princess's life. Suddenly, the ground keeps crumbling all around. The building starts coming down one by one, and a giant hand emerges from the ground, reaching out and pulling the rest of its being up. And the being, a giant demogorgon, wreaking havoc across the land and destroying all that could. And from then on, those adventurers never heard from again. Whether they're dead, they're missing, or they simply ran away to the ends of the earth, trying to find solace in the previous actions that they had done. They were never heard from again.
Minstrel gives a merry dance, and he turns to you. That's a story of intrigue, revenge, disaster, sadness, and hope. Well, I love it. I love it. I could fluff it up, of course. Tell it a bit of a more of a minstrel way. No offense. He kind of taps you on the shoulder, but I love it. All right.
Sounds great.
Okay. I would give that a. I would either check it up a bit, but that was a good 9 out of 10. I give it a 9 out of 10. And as he brings out a bag, he hands it into your hand. You feel it. It feels lighter than gold. And he goes, "Yep, there's the coins I promised you."
Before you go, I'm just gonna check inside this bag and actually make sure that it's gold. I look inside. What do I see?
It is electrum pieces. These are pieces that you have never seen before, and that, as far as you can even tell, the makings and carvings are vaguely of. It looks like an ancient civilization. You, at first, go ahead and give me an insight check, specifically, or investigation check on the coins real quick. Or a knowledge check. I'm curious what Amleth might know about these.
Knowledge. Okay, I'll do a knowledge check. Where the fuck is knowledge at?
So, intelligence, I would call it probably.
Intelligence. So just basic intelligence.
Yeah.
That's a nat 20.
Oh my god,
no,
yeah.
Wait, that was a save. Wait, that was a save I just did. I don't know if that counts.
Oh, I mean, it's fine. If it's a nat 20, I feel like it's still just a roll, right?
Yeah, might as well.
So, based off the roll alone, without any of your other stats, you look at it, and I'm gonna say because you're a barbarian. You come from, even if you're not inherently of a tribe, you have some kind of familial heritage that goes deep and deeper. You learn the history. Most barbarians, when they're learning some kind of path, they have to learn a bit of the history as well. It's one of the only times that barbarians tend to be a little bit less dumb, a little bit more knowledgeable. It's more cultural. And as you stare at these, you realize these might be worth more than gold. That this gesture may have been trying to play a prank on you, but this fool might truly be a fool. These electrum pieces, while not inherently worth gold or anything like that, or even the equivalent of, they're like artifacts. Maybe someone might be willing to buy them for a high price.
Interesting.
And there's roughly
All right.
90 of them.
You are going to tell me exactly what these are right now.
These, my friend, he gives kind of a cheeky smile, are electrum pieces. I know not where they come from precisely, but I can give you at least the whereabouts of where I found them. I found them, and let me see, do I have my world map on it? Oh, okay, real quick, let me upload my world map, and
Got it.
let me point out a specific point. He pulls out a map, and you know those like road trip maps or moments where like you see them unwrap it and it keeps fucking unfolding and unfolding and unfolding. It's like that to the point where, because like most people when they have world maps, it's like they might have a reasonable way of handling it. Maybe it's multiple different maps. Maybe it's very tiny. Maybe they do just essentially almost like references to parts on the map where they're not going to as much detail. He has a very detailed, almost painting-like setup of the entire world map as he unfolds the entire thing. And well, let me bring you guys down to here. Okay, so don't judge. This was one of my first maps I ever actually made in an incarnate. Unlike now, where I'm a little bit better. This is the world map that I generally have you guys follow. You guys are right below this. This is the true north. That's Helfner's Rise, the actual capital of the entire land. You guys are right below this in the southern area amongst the swampy lands. He points to the upper north around Vikram. You, Corvis, that rings a doorbell. Birch mentioned Vikram before and then it rung some bells about the village or the town nearby your village, run by monsters. And as he points to it, he points to Darud amongst a little snowy forest. I found it near Vikram, Darud. I believe, I mean, don't tell anyone, because, I mean, hell, even though I'm miles away, if he ever found me, I might, die. But, I think he might have been a mind flayer.
Mind flayer. Huh?
You stole something from a mind flayer.
Maybe.
Is he after you?
No, I don't know.
God.
But don't worry, I mean, if he happens to stop by, it'll be a long time from now. He starts walking away very, very, like, then after a moment, starts running. Thanks for the story!
We're never seeing that fucker again, are we?
No!
God, I don't think so, honestly. I feel like we just got fucking dumped a whole lot of trouble and probably don't know.
Probably.
If the mind,
If we
if we
have
see the
to
mind
start
flayer.
by... Wait, will Corvis know anyone in Brookdrum? Since that would be the place you were gone to after the whole shebang at his village?
Right. Yeah, you would... If you are specifically talking about mind flayers, publicly there's, like... So, as we kind of discussed before, Corvis, Vikram is kind of like an open secret with their council. No one talks about that it's a monster-run council, but it's a monster-run council and everyone fucking knows it. It's a vampire, there's a werewolf, there's a mind-fucking-flayer, you know. There is publicly about 3 different mind flayers. There's the council member, that his name is Itherd. He was definitely a very rich man, and definitely one that you probably wouldn't want to mess with. So that definitely rings the bell a bit. Other than that, there's one who you don't really remember his name. He was kind of an activist for monsters. It was all you kind of just overlooked it usually. But then one that does ring the bell is a merchant, one that does go between Helfner's Ride and Vikram, that would have crossed through Darud, probably, unless he changed his mercantile path, which is also possible. It was a purple, roughly 6'3" mind flayer named Heller. You could probably think that Heller, while also relatively rich, like Itherd, is not as spiteful though. You think if he did steal from Heller, he's probably not tracking him. Heller probably thought it wasn't even worth the money to send.
Yeah, it's like, if if he's still from the Mind Flayer that I know of, well, I know of three, the one I'm thinking of, he's not, that Mind Flayer is not after him. So no, he is a Mind Flayer. He's a Mind Flayer. If he come across that bard is dead.
And if we do run across a Mind Flayer and he's the one that's actually looking for these and it's not the guy, then either I kill him or I give him back to him. Depends.
That Mind Flayer is a merchant. He probably doesn't care about whatever that you have. What is it? Electrum?
It's some kind of artifact. I recognize it.
Yeah.
I need to study it more in order to actually understand it and see if there's anything I can do with it.
Yeah, during this time, if either of you, Rocco or Corvis, would also like to possibly roll Corvis, just because it is founded near where you actually grew up, I would even give you advantage to do a history check to try and specifically pinpoint the knowledge. Nice. That's, oh, damn, you are just rolling pretty fucking good.
Oh, it looks like Rocco is still looking upon me with favor.
Hell yeah.
That one player definitely saves everything.
So, Corvis, as Amleth is like showing this back, I'll just say inherently because you grew up there. While you're talking about this, Amleth, you're maybe like showing off the Electrum pieces to Rocco and Corvis, probably assumedly in a way where if they try to snatch it, you can just pull it back towards you, as you know, you still don't fully trust them. But as you hold it out to like show one or two pieces to them, Corvis, you actually recognize it as Electrum. This is an Electrum of the Monster Kingdom, the Underground, not Underground. Wait, Underdark. Yes, the Underdark, from the Underdark. In fact, when you look at it more, you're pretty sure this Electrum comes from the capital of the Underdark.
Corvis, what is this?
It's basically the currency of the Underdark. These pieces seem to have minted in the capital of it.
Okay.
That would make sense, though, if it came from there, considering where that bard took it from.
Look, I've been around the bend for a long time, but I've only heard the Underdark a few times. My mind reminded me what the Underdark is. Is that like
basically it's
hell?
It's not hell. It's not of the 9 hells. It's of the material plane.
The elf speaks up from the guards, but it's pretty damn close sometimes.
I won't doubt it. I only been there like once or twice in my years as a bounty hunter. I don't want to go back there.
Mm-hmm. Same here, brother.
But yeah, it's basically the Monster Kingdom.
So it sounds like my kind of place.
Mm-hmm. The elf looks to you. That's where drow live and mind flayers breed and come from. Let alone the most horrific things like amber hulks or umber hulks or different breeds of trolls like rot trolls and death trolls.
Yeah, if you ever go to the Underdark, stick to the lighted paths.
Stick to the lighted paths. Or the crystalline paths, as the Snurf Niblin would say.
Yeah, don't ever go off into the dark by yourself. You'll never be seen again.
For a bit, Corvis, the elf introduces himself. Hello, the name is Theodore. You guys, I would say, over this trip, like low-key bond over talking about the Underdark.
Man, all my homies hate the Underdark.
Yeah, he's like, fuck the Underdark, am I right?
There's no amount of money that I would even pay to go back there. Holy fuck.
Oh, fuck no. The only people who are even cool with Snurf Niblin, and even then, they threaten to skin you if you touch the crystals.
Of course. They're jealous motherfuckers.
Right? They're worse than dwarves, honestly, with their gems. Oh my god.
And they say I'm the weird one.
Honestly, if you were in the Underdark, you would look pretty fucking normal.
It's kind of fucked up down there, holy fuck.
Yeah, he's like, if you ever taken the shroom from around a roll called the Halltops, It's, oh my god, it's basically like taking that and trying to go through a dark cave full of bats. It's scary, things pop out at you, and not always do you know what you're touching, but it's all wet. And with that, it kind of like, I assume your mood kind of dissipates. You start going back to, you know, walking around. And is there anything else you guys like to do before you guys go on to your next encounter as another few weeks pass? And if you like that video and like to see more content, please drop a like and subscribe to Wolfer28, or give us a follow and a rating on both Spotify and iTunes as Bardic Logs. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you next time.